Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Top Cinco Pod. Thank you for all those that have listened so far, those that have liked, followed, and subscribed. I'm going to ask you to do the same again. Again, you need to be doing that, liking, following, and subscribing. Even dropping comments, appreciate those as well. On those platforms, I am on X, YouTube, and TikTok, and that literally is at Top Cinco. So go check all of them out. While I'm talking about platforms and while we're here, just before we get down to the nitty gritty, I'm going to do the intro with Jimmy, and then I want to talk about quickly TikTok, because that's kicked off on the Top Cinco Pod on there. So Jimmy, take it away.
Yeah, great to be back, everyone. Becoming a familiar face, I hope. Onto Imani's note, very soon we will also be available on the rest of the stream platforms such as Spotify, all the Amazon podcasts, Apple podcasts. Apologies for the slight delay, but by the time this is out, it should be available on all of them. So if that's how you prefer to listen to the show, great. It'll be available for you there as well. So yeah, back over to you, Imani, on the TikTok.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you very much for that, Jimmy. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab my phone for this because I need to get the figures correct, because this video has been blowing up, obviously, since we spoke about the David Beckham. And, you know, at the end of the last episode, we did the discussion, and the topic was you talking about how you think David Beckham is the most overrated player, of all time. Yeah. On TikTok, that video has popped off. We've got 1,899 views. There are literally, we've got 41 likes, 63 comments, and a bookmark as well. And I tell you what, you have severely rattled some people in there. Have you been on there and seen all of that, mate?
Oh yeah, how could I not? It was a lot of people took it. Either David Beckham's got a lot of cousins in our comments. I mean, I don't know why people were getting so sensitive about it, as if they're like friends with him or something. I'm like, he doesn't care about you. I don't know why you're. I call them the Spice Boys in the comments.
That was jokes. I saw that. I was dead, man.
But also, I think not everyone fully understood my point, because people were going, "This guy's an idiot. This guy's got no ball knowledge."
No, listen, you had to
At no point did I say David Beckham was a bad football player. I don't say that. I say because people regard him as this world-class, like one of the all-time greats, and that was where my problem was. I think he's the most overrated.
Yeah, I completely understood what you were saying, and literally, people forget that football is a game of opinions. So there is no right or wrong. It literally is just a talking point, and we move on. But it was a great talking point nonetheless. You rattled a lot of people. Got people talking. We like it.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what football's all about. That's why guys love football and love talking football. So that's why we're flipping here. Let's move on.
Get used to it, because there's going to be plenty of other stuff I say throughout the time I'm here. It's probably going to rattle far more cages. So strap in.
You're basically an outspoken guy, and you know what? Sometimes that's needed. You know, not everyone needs to see eye to eye, and not everyone's going to see eye to eye, and that's the beauty of it. So
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say.
Bosh. So deadline day, we're going to go on to the first point. So what we said at the end of, again, we were just going off of the back of last week. Didn't mention that I'm going to talk about deadline day, because obviously the window's now closed since we did the last episode. Let's talk about your boys in red. Ugarte came through the door. What are you saying about that signing?
Yeah, I think pretty crucial. I think Sunday's game, which we'll go into more detail shortly, but I think that proved just how crucial that role is going to be for us. I think everything Casemiro no longer is, Ugarte looks like he is. Like, he is someone that runs around a lot, wins the ball a lot. Okay. I'm not saying he's not going to make mistakes. Of course, every player does, and but I think that's
because I was going to ask you, actually. I haven't actually watched him play that much. What is his game about? But you kind of just touched on
that. I've seen glimpses of him, and again, it's always that thing of going and sort of watching, but from watching him after the fact, if you know what I mean, after he signed or after we became interested and it looked like it might happen. But yeah, like a ball winner, goes out, wins the ball, and is that kind of aggressive, fights for every possession, runs a lot, has got an engine on him.
Okay.
I don't see him.
So an upgrade to Casemiro, we're saying, is that what?
I think
You see people saying that.
Casemiro, absolutely. I think I think what we thought we were signing with Casemiro is what Ugarte will be.
Will be okay.
Yeah.
And the only thing I will say is, obviously, you were looking at him at the start of the window. Did that take too long for your liking, or as a Man United fan, like, why was the business not done earlier on that? Why did it take till deadline day? Obviously, then him missing the Liverpool game, which again we'll touch on shortly. But you know, he would have been quite important in that game.
Yeah, he would have been for sure. I think it was. I think a lot of it was, as I say, we're trying to do business a little bit differently now. Although it sort of felt a little bit like how United do business in the sense of it happened late. But I think it was just a case that we weren't willing to just necessarily throw all the money at the wall, just whatever PSG were asking for. I think we were trying to actually negotiate with them instead of just, oh, how much do you want for him and we'll pay it. I think if Scott McTominay doesn't get sold, I don't think that deal happens.
That deal happens. Yeah. Okay. That's a
great point. That's
well.
the big part. Again, it's just being a little bit smarter. Going, no, when we offload a player for 25 million euros or whatever it was, then now we've got now we can pay a little bit higher if we have to.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. Yeah, it would have been great to have him in earlier, so he could have been probably playing by this point. Although what I will say is he would have had a Copa America to come back from as well and recover from. He would then also, in a weird way, I kind of like the fact we've had the Liverpool game and now he's got some time to get into, like, throwing him in at that, like playing Liverpool third game.
There's a deep end, you would have said. So even if he had a bad game, he probably would have got,
and then it's like,
roasted
if
and
he has a bad game,
caught a lot of corn.
If he has a bad game, which wouldn't have been completely unreasonable, or unforgivable or anything like that, then I don't know, do people get on the back of him? Maybe not United fans, but he'll have a lot of other people going, oh, look, he's shit and stuff like that. So I think it just gives him a chance to, like, break into the team. I don't think any United fan was expecting to win the league this season even with the signs we have. It was just, let's be more competitive and get higher up that league table than we were. So
so you also mentioned, obviously, in that, Scott McTominay, he went to Napoli. Billy Gilmour also went there as well. Because that's a duo, the Scottish duo going to Napoli. Like, what do you think of that? That's a weird one. Like, imagine those two just like centre mid for Napoli. I don't think they'll. I don't know how many games that them two are actually gonna be partnering each other in there, but interesting signing. Did it catch your eye a bit?
Interesting signing. Obviously, I'm rooting for Scott McTominay. I think it was episode 1 we spoke about it. Well, I'm a huge fan of the guy.
Yeah,
he was a great servant to the club. Great servant to the club, and I hope that I wish him all the success at Napoli under Conte. But yeah, it's weird to sign 2 Scottish players. If I'm being completely honest, that's a strange one.
It was.
But
how do you reckon they're going to do that?
How amazing would it be if they end up becoming Napoli's midfield duo?
That'd be mad. That'd be mad. And Conte is the manager there, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
he's got, to be fair, like everyone that speaks, people that speak about Conte that have worked under Conte knows that he is a manager that's going to demand a lot. He works his players, and them two actually are, they are workhorses. So it fits, I guess, his character of player. So that will be interesting to see how they get on there. Ivan Toney, we'll obviously have to talk about him. Big bread, big money, Ivan. Do you think what is your opinion? Do you think he's killed his career now by going there, or do you think he's secured the bag? He's literally come from the lower leagues of English football. He's built his way up, and now this is like the final payday, like pretty much almost seeing his career out.
But he's like, he's like 26, is he not? Like
28.
28. Okay.
I mean, 28.
It's still, I don't know. I think I've seen other football commentators and people that speak about it kind of point this out as well, that, like, where would he have gone? Like, where was he going to go this season outside of Brentford? You go,
just checking his age. Yeah, he was 28. He is 28.
28. Yeah. So you go, like, Arsenal weren't going to go. I think rumours Arsenal had a look at him and then didn't fancy it. They walked away. He wasn't going to go to City. He wasn't going to go to Liverpool. Chelsea had a little look and then decided against it. United signed Xerxes. Tottenham signed Solanke. So then it sort of gets to the point where it's like, well,
you're reading off the clubs here. So
the only other teams around you, like I said, they're basically Brentford's level anyway. Like, they're not far off it. So like,
or
it's not
just above.
huge.
And it's like, are they going to take that huge plunge? Because it would have been a huge plunge. His wages, the transfer fee as well. Brentford would have been asking for a bit, even though he was the last year.
Yeah, well, everything that comes with him as well. So I think it was kind of, he was kind of out of options, and it was then like none of the clubs he would have wanted to go to or he felt he was good enough to go play for came for him. So I think it was then left with a case of he's going to just go to the highest bidder. It's definitely possible he comes back.
Yeah,
he comes back to the Premier League.
28. He does 2 years. He can do 2 years there and come back, and he's catered. You know what I mean? And then maybe
that's it. He's on 400 grand a week.
It's insane money. Like that's
true.
tantalizing. Like I think any of us, even in our, you got to remember this is their job. So any of us in our normal jobs, if we're getting a salary that's like what 4 or 5 times what we're getting now, or something like that, like you're gonna be seriously considering and probably making that damn move, because in this life you have to make money.
Although he's I don't know if anyone, I'm sure I always thought about the conversation between him and his agent, where his agent was like, look, you got 400 grand on the table, but please understand you cannot gamble over there. Like, you just can't do it, all right? The consequences aren't an 8-month ban, it's an 8-year prison sentence or something like that. Like, all right, do not like one hacker down.
Surely someone's made that joke somewhere. Like, surely that's
but I feel like his agent. I generally think like there's no way his agent wouldn't have even reiterated that fact. Like,
or mentioned that to him just on the sly one.
Would have had to have been like, by the way, you do understand you can't gamble over there. Like, you can't just ignore it, because he was banned for gambling for like 8 months. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I hear you, man. I hear you.
It's just funny because I it sounds like a joke, but I'm pretty certain that conversation did actually happen.
In your head, you're convinced. In your head, you're convinced that happened.
In my convinced, I've heard the whole thing play out in my head. Yeah.
Raheem Sterling made the move, and again, that was another. Like, well, let's talk about both of them, Sterling and Sancho. They both made moves that everyone was just like, what the fuck? Sterling going to Arsenal, it's a loan move. I'm not too sure on all of the finances and details, etc. But what are you thinking about that move? Is that a good move for him? Because he literally had ran out, I think, of all options. It's almost like they kind of like offered him on a plate to Arsenal and was just like, here, please, just take him, do something with him, because we can't have him on our books for the season. That's almost what the deal felt like. But and Arsenal being like, oh yeah, fuck it, why not? Like, Nelson's out the door now, so you can be there. You're a good backup for Saka, and we all know that Sterling, he's been around and he has done numbers. He has performed in the Premier League season after season for a very long time, and I think a lot of people forget that, and even had some of his best numbers under Mikel Arteta, even though that was obviously as a number 2. So let's not get too carried away with that. But people will be looking into that and thinking into that as well, and hopefully that could happen.
That's as good of a move as he possibly could have got. I think Arsenal suits him way more than he did Chelsea. I never really understood him going to Chelsea when he did. I know obviously City didn't want him anymore, but it's still, I don't know. It never seemed like it was going to work. He just never seemed like a Chelsea type player.
Yeah.
He's way more suited to Arsenal. As you say, it's definitely encouraging that during his absolute peak of his career was whilst Arteta was coaching him to some degree. He may not have been the head coach, but he was being coached by him, so they'll know each other super well.
Exactly.
I think it's good for, as I say, backup for Saka, and also just good. It's a good experience. I think that's a good combination. But
Sancho,
from Arsenal's perspective, it's kind of risky. Let's say, because you didn't buy him, it's like, well, let's see how this works out, and if it does work out, we'll probably be able to get him on the cheap next season.
I wonder if they will do that, because there's not many players that they've signed that are at that age now, if I'm being completely honest, either. That's another thing. I mean, I feel like Jorginho might have been one of the last that we signed that was over that 30 category that you don't really see Arsenal touching these days, which was interesting. We also mentioned Sancho. Let's talk about him, and then we'll also mention a very odd deadline day for 2 individuals.
Yeah, Sancho, as I say, has been mentioned already on this on the show. It's just super happy.
He has indeed. Yeah.
Super happy to see the back of him.
There's not many United fans that have a glowing reference for him, if I'm being honest.
No, because it was just shit. It was one of the biggest wastes of money one of the worst transfers we've ever done, in all honesty. For the amount of money to what he delivered. I mean, people criticise Pogba, saying he wasn't worth the money. Pogba looks like a fucking bargain compared to Jadon Sancho. Like, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm glad I think he was pushing for Chelsea as if that's going to make a difference. Like, in his career, he's just filling Sterling's spot, in my opinion. He's just filling that spot of he'll probably get to train with the first team.
Bit younger,
but
that's
a bit younger.
The other side is a bit younger.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's a couple, not that many years younger than Sterling.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's 10 years younger than him. He's 2 or 3 probably years younger than him. It's really not that big of a gap.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's a loan with a commitment to buy, not with an option to buy.
I think the fee was 25 million. I heard. Is that
25 mil? Yeah. Well,
you taking that? You're just you happy with that?
Free.
Okay.
I was going to let him go for free. It's just 25 million. It's 25 million over my asking price. It's fantastic business.
It'll be interesting, man. Like those two, a lot of people are going to be watching them two. I think week in, week out, even for the next, let's just say 6 to 8 weeks, just to see what's going to happen and what they're going to be like. I reckon.
Oh, my call here is Sterling will do better at Arsenal than Sancho will at Chelsea.
Yeah,
and I'm not.
We should do. I'll do a poll for that. We'll do a poll for that. I reckon. And see,
I don't mean that just as a team success, because I think Arsenal are going to do better than Chelsea. I mean, just their individual performances. Yeah, there'll be a big difference between.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll do a little poll for that and see what people are saying on that one. So what I was going to mention, a very interesting deadline day for 2 individuals. That is 2 goalkeepers that were in the spotlight on deadline day, which is rare. You had Neto that made his move on loan from Bournemouth to Arsenal. And then Kepa Arrizabalaga, the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, who was on loan at Real Madrid last season, has now joined South Coast team Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. Like, you say it out loud and it just sounds mad. Like, what's the actual fuck?
Yeah, very strange.
That's literally, when I heard that, that's literally what was going through my head. Like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah. I don't
know how is his career? That is literally. Would you say that's a complete nosedive? But I think he signed a contract with at Chelsea before he then left. He'd done a renewal and then went to Bournemouth. Is that a demise for his career? Just plain and simple.
It is, but then at the same time, it's like, who the fuck offered him a new deal? Well, we know who offered him a new deal, but I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah,
like it just seems so strange to do that for a keeper that's clearly surplus to requirements. If you're letting him go out on loan, you don't have any plans for him. That's simply where you literally.
Because they brought in another keeper. They brought in Jorgensen from Villarreal.
Now they've got
so if he wasn't in your plans,
it's stupid. It's so stupid, but it's strange the knock-on effects. We spoke about Aaron Ramsdale, and then he's gone to Southampton.
Now. Yeah.
I think that was good business for us. So basically, recouped all of the money that you spent on him almost.
Eventually, I think. Well, I don't know if we'll come with add-ons potentially. So
yeah. I think so. I think that's a good bit of business anyway. Because every year he stayed at Arsenal on the bench, his value's going to go down.
Value's just going to go down, yeah. Of course.
So I think it was good. Overall, it was good business for Arsenal. Got a backup keeper on loan. Pretty decent backup keeper, I think, for when.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So
just weird.
Think, it's just like Arsenal were the real winners out of that. I mean, Bournemouth.
Another deadline day Arsenal winner. We saying?
Yeah, no, but we'll see if.
Let's see.
We'll see what Kepa does. We'll see what he does at a team where
he could. If he has a worldy season, then he'll go back. I think what they're probably hoping is that he has an absolute worldy season there. Probably smashes clean sheet records or something for Bournemouth, or just bad boy saves, camera saves, all of that stuff. And we're just like, shit, boy, are you watching this Kepa? He's amazing. He goes back to Chelsea, and then they're just like, oh yeah, he's going to be our first team keeper next season. Yeah, that's probably what they're hoping. With the way that all of this is panned out, and it's possible as well. This is the thing with goalkeepers. Like, I think that's probably the one thing as a goalkeeper you can do is if you're, like you said, surplus to requirements at your club. If you go out on loan and have a worldy season. One of the best things you can do, at least with midfielders, defenders, attackers, you're probably waiting for an injury that's more than likely going to happen, or you're waiting for your slot, or you're going to come off the bench. A goalkeeper isn't doing that. So to go out on loan and then absolutely smash it, flipping it up, then just thinking about it in my head, then yeah, maybe that is a good move for him. But it does seem like a nosedive in terms of clubs and the way he's gone from the world's most expensive goalkeeper to now being on loan at Bournemouth. And that's no disrespect to Bournemouth or anything like that. But it's
But,
an absolute madness.
A good example, you look at someone like Edwin van der Sar, he didn't sign for United until he was like 35. Like 35 seasons, and then had the best period of his entire career in that stage of his time.
It was crazy.
What a keeper! In that period, the best goalie in the world.
What a keeper he was.
So, exactly. But at Fulham, people saw him as a very good goalkeeper, but not what he became in that last stretch of his career where he won everything. Yeah, he literally won the Premier League, everything.
He had to perform at Fulham to get that move in the first place. To be fair, well, I didn't say he had to perform, but he performed at Fulham, and that's what got him that move.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I'm not saying Kepa is going to become the next Edwin van der Sar at all. To be clear. But I'm saying it's possible. Like, it's crazy things have happened where goalkeepers can revive their career very late on.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? Whew. We are getting through this, aren't we? So, the Champions League we were going to speak about, but another player's just come to my head because this was a late one that happened, and I think I sent you something about it like yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Victor Osimhen. This guy has gone from being one of the hottest strikers in Europe, top scorer in Serie A, winning the league in Serie A with Napoli, to the season after not doing nowhere near the numbers that he did the season before. Then going on to say in the summer that he was going to be leaving Napoli. So everyone's like, okay, where's this guy going to go? He's hot property. Like, even though he kind of fell off last season and didn't have a great African Cup of Nations either. So, okay, there's probably a few question marks, the season and then African Cup of Nations. You're like, okay. But you're still thinking, right, this guy's hot property, top striker. A lot of clubs looking out for top strikers, but then you're thinking money. He signed that bumper new contract. And this is the only thing that I'm thinking that could have been detrimental to where he went to next, this new contract that he signed, because he's now ended himself up on loan in the Turkish league. Again, no disrespect to them. They are a massive club. But we were talking about this guy, and everyone was talking about this guy all summer, going to potentially Chelsea, was he linked? I don't know if he was linked with Real Madrid, if I'm being completely honest, but strikers get linked with anyone. Arsenal were linked with him. Like I said, Chelsea were linked with him. I can't even remember some of the other clubs. And then obviously Saudi links. A load of Saudi teams that were there talking about him as well. Galatasaray he ends up at. Galatasaray, Victor Osimhen has gone to. Like, I saw it yesterday and I had to send it to you straight away. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
can we discuss?
It's such a strange transfer where obviously the club are very upset with him that he basically personally announced he wouldn't be playing for them anymore, which is definitely extremely unprofessional. It's extremely unprofessional at best. Like, at worst, it's fucking disgraceful. Like, it's bizarre to just because he was on like a podcast or something.
Yeah, he was on a podcast.
It's fucking nuts to just announce on a podcast that, oh yeah, I'm not going to play for these guys ever again. Like, that's something you shouldn't say. And I think part of it's punishment to some degree, because we knew that Chelsea and those teams, I'm sure they would all have taken him on loan, like the same way I think Napoli have gone, you're not going where you think you're going.
But one of my boys said to me, why didn't Arsenal just take him on loan? If he went to Galatasaray on loan. Like, again, you said Chelsea. It's a great point. Like, maybe they were just like...
I think it was personal. I think they were just like, we're not giving you what you want. You're not going to do that to us and then get what you want at the end of it.
Yeah. So that might have been detrimental to him.
They're like, look, you signed a contract. Like, you signed this bumper new deal, which is, I know it's a bit old-fashioned, but really, it's supposed to mean you're committing to that club for that number of years. And he basically did 1 year of it and was like, nah, fuck it. I don't want
contracts.
the way people rip up contracts. I'm going to disrespect the club publicly by announcing my departure. So I think for them, they were just like, yeah, you're not going anywhere you think you're going. You can go to the land of fake Gucci belts.
Go and enjoy that. He can go be a flipping hero for a season there. If he goes there and smashes it, he could have the greatest year of his life in Turkey. He can go there and enjoy. Like, we're not saying that it's a horrible place or anything like that, but it's just weird the fact that this guy who was a top shooter in Europe 2 years ago has now which is seeming like his prime, going to Turkey to ply his trade.
I think that's what it is. You don't see players top, really sought after players in their prime going to Turkey. You just don't see that.
Yeah, it's usually towards the end of their career, like 30s plus.
Exactly.
What people are doing with Saudi, what people do with the MLS, like. Yeah, the Turkish teams, you're always usually guaranteed like your European football as well. I know that the two big boys they're not even in the Champions League this year, by the way, which is an absolute madness.
Oh, really?
No, but you are usually always guaranteed that with them as well. So that's usually a great selling point for people when they're thinking to go there. But yeah, that's done, and Osimhen is now a Galatasaray player, so all the best to him for the season. But that's definitely another one I'll be watching out for and seeing how it goes for him there. Internationals, are you a fan first and foremost before we talk about Lee Carsley? We'll touch on it briefly because not everyone's a fan of internationals. It's not everyone's favourite point of the season when they do come up. So what are you saying?
It's split because I go absolutely nuts during the Euros and the World Cup.
This is the point that I always make, but I want to hear you talk. I
literally will sit and watch every single game, not just England games, every game.
Yeah, you're like me. I love doing that shit. I just
love doing that. And I even did it for Copa America this year because it was on at the
right time.
So I was watching like 6-7
international
games.
Boy.
Yeah, it was crazy. 6-7 games a day. Drove my wife nuts. She was furious for a month. Absolutely furious. But anyway, so I can't say I don't like international football because I love it. But it's when there's some stakes involved. I even back in the UK, I would never watch England play in a friendly. Anytime it was a friendly, I would refuse to watch it because it was so dull.
I mean, there's a few times where like we would link up during the week and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the England game, and it's like, yeah, I'm not too bothered. Like I'd say a lot of people just go on. That just reminded me.
We've made the point before that it doesn't, especially in the qualifying games for the World Cup and stuff like that, it doesn't really feel like the players give a shit either. And I think that's definitely part of my struggle to become invested. It didn't help under Southgate, if I'm being honest, because the style of football he plays is hard to watch in the major competitions. Like having to watch that for 12 games in the lead up to it is even tougher against, you're watching England struggle or not play well against a team that's ranked like 100th in the world or something like that, or maybe even worse sometimes.
It's painful at times, and it's just like you're looking at all these players. You look at all the individual talent that they bring together every single time a squad is announced. You get that initial excitement, and you're just like, I can't wait to see what these guys are like together. You can't wait to see them ball out, and then they just let you down every single time.
And how often does it happen as well, where you see these new players get included, and you get, like I said, you get excited, and then they get like 3 minutes, like they get extra stoppage time at the end of the game. You're like, well, what? Like, it's nice for them that they've got a cap, but like it's proved nothing. Like it's proved absolutely nothing. I mean, okay, you've got to see them in training, but you've got to see them in the Premier League in real matches and stuff like that. Like, I don't see what that individual training session with the England camp has done at all for your knowledge of the player. Like, in my opinion, watching them in games in the Premier League will give you way bigger of an idea than anything else. So not a fan. I know they tried to make it more exciting with like the
Nations League. Tried to make it a bit more competitive.
They tried to make it more interesting, but it didn't do it. I don't see that and I'm sure no one sees that as a real competition or anything.
See, my problem with international football, like you said, you've touched on some of it, but I like watching football, period. So internationals is supposed to be exciting because you've got the best players from that country representing their country coming together, and you're thinking, right, this could be wavy. This should be exciting. We should be seeing some good football here. And I don't know whether it's the players, I don't know whether it's the coaches, I don't know whether it's the mentality, but I think I mentioned it to you just out of this podcast. But I feel like there's certain foreign players that they're passionate when they're away with their country. It means a lot to them to go away and represent their country. It's great pride, and you see it when they're on the pitch and that as well, when their performances, and they're exciting to watch. And let's be honest, it's mainly the South Americans that you watch that give you that va-va-voom that you like to watch and enjoy, and they give you good matches. England, like you said, people just don't get it and don't feel it with them. Is that a patriotic thing, do you think, the internationals as well?
Yeah, I do think there's definitely a part of it. I don't think we have much patriotism in the UK anyway, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Well, some people do, but they just fortunately don't play for England. Probably it's a good way of saying it. But like in the South American countries, they definitely love, like, they just are so, it's such an honour for them to play
Yeah.
for their country. And doing what, when we were growing up, it felt like that. It felt
That's
like
what I
they
was thinking.
really
Even when
cared.
like you were younger and you got called up for like county football or something like that. I know it's not your country, but just being called up for county meant you were better than a lot of the people in your county. That was pride. That was excitement.
I felt that way at school. Getting picked for the school team, like, and because you're like,
There's
I've been
so
picked
many
out
other
of
players.
yeah, I've been picked out of a pool of hundreds of boys, like, and I've been selected, and I'm representing. There was an element of that, like,
Yeah.
because when you play for your club team, you're like, oh well, they needed someone in this position, so I went and played for them. This is a funny story, actually. I can lead on to that because
Yeah.
before I moved to Pickle School, the school that Imani and I met at, when I was in year 9, so I was 13.
And Jimmy, a few technical difficulties over there in Mexico, but he is back.
That's it.
So you were saying on the old left back, mate.
So yeah, so when you play left back and you're left-footed, typically you're guaranteed to walk into any team at like school level or your local team level. And that was my story. It wasn't my favourite position to play, but it was like I could always play there. And then I learned to really like the position. I remember then when I moved yeah, exactly. But when I moved to the school, I remember thinking, okay, I'll be able to walk into this school team, like, no problem. Like, it'll be great. And I'll be like, oh, it'll be an easy way to make friends and stuff like that. And I'll be the guaranteed, name on the sheet. And then I find out that the best player in the entire school year was you, who happened to play left back. And I was so frustrated. So frustrated. And then
those were the days.
And then I remember even when we got to, I don't know if it was in year 10 or year 11, but we would essentially just swap. Like, either you would go left mid and I would go left back, or I would go left mid and you'd be left back.
Just the way it was with left-footed players, man. Those were the days being, well, I do know what it was. When I actually look back at it now, it's probably because I was just playing against people my own age. And we went to a school that was like rugby guys as well. Like, not obviously downplaying my shit. I was a very good player, but like, it was, I've played against some quality players as well. That's why I'm just safe, man. But yeah, those other guys that I played with and against were levels.
I should also say Ruben's name. I'm sure if he does listen to the show, he'll be mad if I didn't say his name. He was also left-footed, but he always played left wing. He never did the hard graft to the back.
Ruben never been a defender, mate. Always in the attack.
Never on the defense. But so he can't say anything. But
if you see it, Ruben, you come for him, mate. You come for him.
But I haven't forgotten, Ruben. I didn't forget you, so don't get mad. I didn't forget you.
Exactly. Big love to Ruben, man. Big love. Lee Carsley and his England squad. So, obviously, we were saying, not big fans of the international. We've seen his squad that's gone in there. Six players that have played under him, I think, in the under-21s. With that being Angel Gomez, Madueke Noni was in there as well. But then there's been a couple of other men that he actually has called in. So let me just get that up as well, because there's been withdrawals today as well. And I'm seeing that Palmer, Watkins and Foden are all out. Mm-hmm. And then with regards to him and who he brought in, he's really trying to do something different. He's got Livramento in there. He's got Gibbs White in there. Like I said, I mentioned Gomez as well. These are all players that have played under him, and I feel like he's trying to put his own stamp on it. He's also recalled Grealish. He's also recalled Harry Maguire. What do you think about the squad, and do you think these young guys that he's brought in will repay the faith that he's potentially showing?
Maybe, but I don't know. I kind of always have the thing with like caretaker managers where, like, I don't think it matters anyway. Like, even anyone that sets it alight, like, it's still going to come down. Like Grealish, for example, I'll use him as an example because he's more experienced, or Maguire as well. If they come in and have amazing games, and and have like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 performances, the next manager is going to come in and not have any consideration to, they did this under the caretaker manager for a handful of games. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for them, but at the same time, it's like, don't get carried away because.
And do you think players that are left out like White, Tony, and Walker will just be like with that mentality, just like, oh yeah, it's just interim. Like when the actual real gaffer comes in, then I might be a little bit more bov.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with them, it's time off again for pointless games. I can stay at home during this pointless game season. So I don't think any of them will be. They'll probably publicly be like, their PR person who covers their Twitter will be like, I'm absolutely devastated to be left out of the England team.
Yeah.
I'll do everything I can to fight for my blow. There'll be some crap like that, but I don't think any of them care. I don't think.
Have you worked in PR before, mate? You just know the standard jargon, mate.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I'm pretty sure it's the same. Like for Manchester United, I'm pretty sure it's the same either man or woman, because all of a sudden Bruno Fernandes went from broken English, we had to write like paragraphs talking about how like upset he was that we'd lost, and then funny enough, Marcus Rashford would write the exact same thing with a few words changed. Harry Maguire would then write the exact same thing. It's like you're really all singing.
You're a team. They're singing from the same hymn sheet, mate.
All of them are writing these essays after a loss, are they? Like,
yeah,
I don't know if you've heard any of these people speak, but they don't seem that articulate to write anything. So
not buying it.
Well, we all know, like Marcus Rashford has a PR team. That's
PR, yeah, he does. Yeah,
they're the ones that actually came up with the whole free school meals thing. It wasn't his idea. For anyone that wasn't aware of that, it was his face behind it. He wasn't the one that did any of it. It was someone else doing it. It's the same thing Reece James had, and he has the same team as Marcus Rashford, and he had some similar idea. I think it was laptops or some bullshit. Mm-hmm. That one didn't pick up because no one cares if kids get free laptops or whatever it is. But
we'll have to potentially pick up on those. That's interesting.
Sure. I'm not saying it didn't do a good thing, but I'm just saying it wasn't him. He wasn't the one that came up with the idea or even was speaking about it.
Okay.
Because it's not him that writes his Twitter. So what are we doing?
Calling them out, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
people talk about giving him a knighthood. Like, his PR person should be given the knighthood. They're the one that do all the work. Anyway,
flipping out. Weekend ball. We are going to touch on that. I know it's days after the Super Sunday, but we have to touch on it because Super Sunday was in fact a good Sunday, and that's why it's called Super Sunday. What a Sunday it was. United. What did you think of the game? Obviously, you said last week in your little clip, for those that haven't seen it, it's on TikTok as well. You don't really tend to watch Liverpool unless they're playing against us or against Liverpool. First and foremost, did you watch the game? And what did you think?
I was able to catch bits of it. I was having some signal issues, and obviously being here, I've got
in Mexico. Sorry, for those who don't know, he is on vacation in Mexico. He's not just being a bum and saying, "Oh, I'm just half-hearted with trying to watch games." But yeah, go on.
No, yeah, it's difficult at the moment. When I'm in Canada, don't worry, I watch them religiously, but
early as well, early doors in Canada, which is kind of even more commitment when you think about it.
It's like, I mean, even the 3:00 kickoff is at, because you can watch 3:00 games over there, which is nice.
Sick.
But that's at 8 a.m.
That's what I mean. The dedication.
When I watch United, the worst one is, I remember last season we played West Ham with the early kickoff. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. to watch us get beat. It was rough, dude. That was a rough one.
That's painful. Getting up that early to. Oh yeah, that's pain. Look what United do. Look what they do to their fans.
If I didn't still have the sleep in my eyes, I probably would have started crying. But I did this week. I did my bit. I went deep into the Mayan. This isn't even a joke. I went deep into the Mayan jungle. I climbed a pyramid. I thought about doing some human sacrifice, but I wasn't with enough people to pull that off. But I prayed. I literally prayed. So I was like, right, if you Mayan fellas are real, sort us out. Go on, do us a favour. And then the next day we got beat. We got beat 3-0.
What a waste of breath.
What a waste of breath and energy. I know, my legs were tired for like 2 days after climbing that pyramid as well. Wasn't worth it at all.
Killer.
Wasn't worth it at all.
But Diaz, mate. Louis Diaz with a double and Salah as well. What a game that he had as well. Flipping out. Two assists and a goal. It almost looked easy for him at some points. He should have bagged 2 as well. That one that he stuck over the bar. He's looking sharp. Momo.
He's such a good player, man. I'm such a big fan of his. He's been quality since the minute they signed him. He's wasn't he a January transfer? I think he's one of he'll be spoken about as one of the best winter transfer bits of business because they're not normally that good, are they? But he's
not the January ones. He's definitely got to be considered the best African player to touch the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like there's maybe one or two others that people might throw in there, but
Luis Diaz.
Mo Salah will always be there, and then Diaz is just fucking what a season he's having as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's quite.
It's only the start, but I say what a season. It's because I watched in pre-season as well. Did he have the Copa America as well?
Yeah, he'd have been with Colombia as always, and they made it to the final. They made it to the final. Remember?
Yeah, so
they were in the final of that. So yeah, he had a long.
The guy's just a machine to do that, to come back to be as sharp as he has been and to look as sharp as he has done is very impressive. He's another one that needs to now push on from last season because he was performing last season, but it was the end product. The goals and the assists weren't really there. They weren't coming. It was almost like he was fluffing his lines in the last. So if he can get that right this season, then it's going to be real frightening for everyone when they come up against Liverpool. Newcastle, Tottenham. Did you see the game 2-1? I watched the highlights. Right, I didn't watch it live because I was out. But when I watched the highlights, I haven't seen a team like get battered the way Newcastle were getting battered by Spurs. I saw the amount of attempts that Spurs had as well, and the fact that Spurs still ended up coming away from losing that game was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was a really weird one because Newcastle hadn't had the best start to the season either by any stretch of the imagination. So I would have if I was gambling on it, I would have gone Tottenham 100%. Yeah. But it's an interesting one because neither of them have actually got the start they were probably expecting in terms of the results. But really bad result for Tottenham. It looked like they did play significant.
Yeah, every time they go forward, they look like honestly they're honestly quite frightening when they link up and the speed that they go forward at as well. Yeah. And it just looks like they're gunning. Yeah. And then it's just they're drawing blanks in front of goal clearly right now because to have 20 attempts in one game and to come away with one goal,
like those, and to lose 2-1 as well, where it looks like a gun, but then it's just like something comes out and it's just bang.
Tottenham every time they get in front of goal right now. So it's so funny because I'm literally picturing that as well.
Yeah,
but that's what they're firing blanks in front of goal this season, and it's great viewing for those that hate Spurs. It's frustrating for those that love Spurs.
No,
of course.
We'll
have to touch on it.
Little Mr. Lanky, mate. I'm telling you.
But he's not there. They missed him.
But I'm telling you, he's not. He's going to be part of that. They're not going to. If they've got better players than him, and they're not.
He tucks those. I think he tucks a few of those chances away. I'm still backing Dom Solanke, even though I'm a gooner here, but I'm keeping it fair. I am still backing Dom Solanke. I'm not turning on him right now or just yet. When he's back and he's fit, we'll see. Let's just see. All right. The last game of the Super Sunday, Chelsea against Palace. Chelsea drew that game 1-1. Was that a good draw for both teams? Was that a good draw for Palace? Was that a good draw for Chelsea? And oh my God, did you see Eze's goal?
Yeah, saw Eze's goal. Great result for Palace. Great result. They'll take a draw against Chelsea every single time. I think they play it, but shocking result for Chelsea, in my opinion. They lost. Obviously, they lost the first game to City. Fine. Yeah. Then the thing is, the problem is with Chelsea, and we know a lot of their fans. Like they got so carried away by smashing Wolves 6-2. Like it was like they were talking about like they were back. It's like you beat Wolves. Okay.
To be fair, the Chelsea fans I know have been quiet for a while, but there are other Chelsea fans out and about and around.
Well, the thing is, because the ones I see now, I don't live there now. I see the online Chelsea fans, so I'm seeing online Chelsea fans only. Okay. And they suck. Okay. They're really bad. They're up there with some of the worst fan bases going. Yeah. So so that it was very good, quite humbling moment for them. It's like, you're nowhere near where you think you are.
Yeah.
But I think maybe in the next few months when he actually figures out what his best team is, which is literally, I'm not even exaggerating, it may take him that long to figure out actually what his best team is. You might see them get going again because they have got some really good players for sure. There's no doubt about Chelsea have got some really good players there.
Yeah, of course.
But
The squad depth is crazy.
I think at best, they finish 6th this season. I think that's the best result they could hope for.
I think so. When you look at how strong the league is, I don't think that's
what I mean.
That's crazy or unreasonable either. Unless Enzo, I don't see it. But unless Enzo and Maresca can really whip that big squad into shape, I just think that's probably best case scenario for them. Get back into those positions there. A bit of European football next season as well, and then just build from there. Like honestly, just build from there. They clearly are building with their 8-9 year contracts.
If he was this genius that like Chelsea thought he was, he would have beaten Palace. He just would have. He just would have beaten Palace. They didn't really do anything to City. Okay, yeah, they look good against Wolves, but as I say, it didn't mean anything. It looked like Wolves just didn't turn up at all. And that's, I don't know, that doesn't tell you anything about
it's the Premier League. It's all about consistency with the Premier League. So we'll see over the course of the season.
We'll see. I could be wrong, but I think if they finish 6th, they should consider that a really good season. Yeah. Based on where they're at the moment.
Let's do the end game then. So as we've done in the last 2 episodes, we always finish with a little Jimmy game or Jimmy idea. So what have you got for us this week, mate?
So it's the idea I've got this one, and it's also going to be, I'd like to put it out to a poll, okay? For anyone. So it's a would you rather, okay? So the question is if you could become a professional football player, okay, but you will stay on the money that you currently earn now.
Oh.
Okay, or you stay in your current job, but you get paid a professional footballer's salary.
For me, I don't want to say it's easy, but I think I'm staying with my job because I quite like my job as well. That's the thing. Like not many people know that there's a lot of people that do their job because their salary pays well and all that kind of stuff. But this is a story for you as well. Fuck it, let me drop it. It's very weird as well. I find it weird, but yeah. When I was younger, my housemate Michael, who's a good friend of mine, has known him from when I was very, very young. So his parents are like my parents. The mum said to me one time when we was a little bit older, she was like, do you remember what you said to me when you were younger, that if you weren't a professional footballer, what you wanted to be? And I said, no, I don't actually remember. What did I say I wanted to be? I said, you wanted to be an estate agent. What are the chances that a young boy says, obviously he wants to be a professional footballer because every young boy wants to be a professional footballer. But then I'm just like, okay, yeah, let me be realistic as well. If I'm not a professional footballer, I want to be an estate agent and, try my hand at it, try to get to that level. And now I'm an estate agent. It's weird.
Mad.
So I would 100%.
Now you're a janitor at an estate agent. So that's crazy.
Dickhead. For me, that I don't want to say that was an easy question, but it's a great question as well. I would take the footballer's salary.
I think not just us. Like it go beyond us. What I'd be interested to know what people would say if they'd rather earn the same money, and they could say like you could play for Arsenal or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be so sick though. But then I'd be looking to get sponsorships and all that kind of stuff on the side. It would be.
But no. Let's say you can't. You can't. It's
you can't.
The same money. It's the same money. Yeah. It's exactly what you earn now. So you'll have to be still living with Michael. Playing for Arsenal. What is that?
Nothing against the yard. I don't know why it's so funny. The yard's calm.
That's so funny.
It's cool, but
maybe you have to know Michael to find that so funny. But I think anyway, playing for Arsenal and having to have a roommate because of affordability issues is just funny. I'm in the same boat. I wouldn't swap. I wouldn't swap. Like I love my life now. If you'd asked me this question a year ago or a couple of years ago, I think the answer I would take would be footballer. I think honestly, but I think the life I have now and the freedom I get with it, and there's almost zero that could give me the to swap it. So I mean, even
it's
if
a sick question. It's a sick question. I like that one.
We could put it out to a poll. What would you rather
We'll
do?
definitely get that on the poll, and we'll see how we go.
yeah.
Hopefully you can get that kind of traction that we got for your Beckham opinion. I somehow don't think we will, but then again, that just shows the stature of Beckham, because like, we had him in the hashtags and all that, and that's probably why so many people saw it and jumped on it. We'll see. Actually,
Maybe.
That will be a test. That will be a test to see if
some of the comments were crazy. Some people were saying that I had an awful childhood because of that opinion. Some people were like, what?
It was
my childhood was fantastic. Yeah. You don't even know the place. If you understood the places I went in my childhood, you wouldn't have said any of those things. I guarantee.
Man was enjoying life.
I guarantee Dino, if that is the real name. You haven't been in your entire life the places I went in my childhood. So don't even worry about it. And guess what?
Bro.
You're definitely not doing what I'm doing now either. So you can fuck right off.
Love it, man.
You're watching us. We're not watching you.
Hey, big facts.
Yeah.
Tell them. But thank you again for joining me. Another enjoyable episode, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comments, all of that stuff. Like I said, the handle, the whatever you want to bloody call it, at Top Cinco Pod. At Top Cinco Pod. Hit the pages up. I'm on X, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on YouTube as well. Also, Jimmy, do your thing. Let them know what your page is saying and what you're about quickly as well, and then we will sign it off for this evening.
Yeah, follow my page Manzano Media on Instagram or Jimmy Manzano on TikTok. My TikTok's been going crazy in the last week and a half. As I had a video that did over 100,000 views recently, but I've grown. I still had quite a low follower account, considering I had like 400 followers, but in the last week it's gone to like 1,200. It's gone crazy. I'm getting like triple my following essentially in the last week, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. So super grateful for everyone that has done that. Please continue to do so. I've got lots of big stuff that I'm going to be working on once I'm back in Canada as well, which I think everyone will like. So yeah. Please follow. Back out. Thanks very much.
Come on. Good evening, bro. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.